What's up, schmucks, and welcome to Turkey Bites, the show where we take a little bite out of the latest movie news. And we got some news on the Leigh Whannell Wolfman movie. I talked about this movie before in a previous Turkey Bites, go check that out if you want. In the last one, we talked about a trailer that played at CinemaCon, and I laid out my theory for what I think this movie will truly be about. Anyway, we got our first look at the official logo for Leigh Whannell's Wolfman in a poster being shown at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal. Also, I'm currently getting over a cold, and I don't know if that's going to come out in the audio, so if I sound gross, I'm sorry. But this look at the poster comes via Freaks of HHN on Instagram, and they write, "The stage by Want-A-Haunt bar in San Francisco is ready for Wolfman. Hopefully, this will be a photo op." They also tagged the Orlando branch of Halloween Horror Nights, which excites me because I live in Florida and I go to Halloween Horror Nights every year. So if this is a photo op, I will be taking some pictures when I go. Anyway, for anyone who is new around here or hasn't seen the videos I've made this year, I have made it abundantly clear that I love the cum. And by that, I obviously mean the classic Universal monsters. You know, Dracula, Gillman, Bride of Frankenstein, Invisible Man, my goat, and the Wolfman. These are my fucking boys. I love these guys. So anything related to the cum or to the dark universe has my full attention. So let's investigate this poster and photo op and try to make some educated guesses or theories about what's happening here. For anybody unaware, the Wolfman story centers on a man named Larry Talbot, who is attacked by a werewolf and becomes one himself. He ends up terrorizing his town, but is eventually slain. This version will be the third telling of this story, and we know this movie is already taking a few liberties. For example, it's set in the modern day, and this version of Talbot will have a wife and daughter who he is desperately trying to protect from a monster in the woods before he himself becomes the monster in the woods. It's unclear if this version of Wolfie will be named Larry Talbot. I think at bare minimum his surname will be Talbot, but I don't know if they're gonna call him Larry. The 2010 remake called him Lawrence because they were pussies, so I guess we'll see. I'm just thinking about Jake Talbot. Jake Talbot. That's not funny. What are you fucking laughing about? But Julia Garner is playing the wife character, who will most likely be the real protagonist of the movie, trying to escape the Wolfman with her daughter. I got into this more and I gave my theory on what I think the movie will really be about in my last video on the Wolfman, so go check that out if you are at all interested. Anyway, back to this. Let's start with the set design. This little scene is decorated with a wheelbarrow, some potted plants, a few trees, bales of hay, overgrown grass, shovels, and some weathered planks of wood that lead to the backdrop of what is most likely the Talbot house, a modern take on Talbot Castle. The decor here makes me think that the Talbots will be farmers, likely living a calm, secluded life until their lives are flipped upside down by a werewolf. We know from the CinemaCon trailer that the Talbot family lives in a remote cabin in the woods, which we now have our first look at. And we also know the movie's being framed around a mother and her daughter versus the father, who is now the Wolfman. So I would imagine this frankly massive house is where the bulk of the movie will take place, with Julia Garner hiding and running through it, trying to evade her now monstrous husband. This does concern me about a kill count though. If we really are only going to have 3 characters, how many people is the Wolfman gonna kill? To be fair, Julia Garner could always escape to a town or to another farmhouse and the Wolfman could come and kill everybody, but I want to see the Wolfman go on a tear. I want to see some vicious maulings, man. But the most interesting piece of all of this, for me at least, is the logo. For one, this movie is called Wolfman, not The Wolfman or even The Wolfman. Wolfman. I like it. I am a little worried about the January release date though, because January is where studios tend to drop their garbage, but at the same time, this was going to release this October, but it had to be pushed due to scheduling issues, so I think it'll be fine. Anyway, logo, sorry. So the reason this stands out to me and the reason it gets my gears spinning is because the font is very scratchy and scribbly, like a child wrote it. I'm definitely reaching here, but the logo for the last Leigh Whannell Dark Universe movie had some creative flair to it as well, so this is right up his alley. The Invisible Man logo shifts from thick and heavily noticeable to thin and harder to see, because, you know, Invisible Man. I think this Wolfman font is made to look handwritten, as if Talbot's daughter scribbled it out. Maybe she sees the werewolf outside her window at night, watching the Talbot family. And if they are farmers, then maybe it's eating their livestock, and she sees it. So she draws a picture of the thing I saw outside my window, the thing that was in our backyard, that creature I saw, the Wolfman. Again, I'm probably reaching, but I don't care. I'm very excited for this movie. I really am. The last thing I want to say about this scene, this photo op, whatever you want to call it, this thing at Universal, it looks too bland for Halloween Horror Nights. What, I'm going to take a picture in a farm aesthetic with a house behind me? Plus, nothing here screams Wolfman. I mean, I guess the logo technically does scream Wolfman, but you know what I mean. This is just too boring. And so, I think we're going to see the Wolfman on this stage, and it'll be the design from this movie, the new Wolfman look. I think we're going to see it. Or, they're going to pull out the mascot they're going to use for the Epic Universe, Dark Universe stuff, which is fine also. I mean, I'll take anything Dark Universe related. Because at the same time as I'm saying that, does Universal really want the first look at the new rebooted Wolfman design to be a mascot at Halloween Horror Nights? Is that what they want? Or do they want, like, you know, they want the big reveal in the trailer or in the movie itself, you know? I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about this, they really might just have the Wolfman design for the Epic Universe stuff. That might actually be what this is for, and they're gonna, like, you know, tie it together. I don't know. I'm spiraling now. I should have just left this the way it is. Anyway, if you like the Wolfman or you give a shit about any of this as much as I do, what do you think is happening here? Do you think we're gonna see a Wolfman on this stage? Do you care about any of this at all? I would love to hear more perspectives. All right, that'll do it, my beautiful schmucks. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Turkey Bites, and I will see you next time. Bye.